Hi there, welcome to I Alone Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Cancer energy, and we're going to read it from a couple different perspectives because people have free will. Some people harness high vibe Cancer energy, some people harness a more worldly focused Cancer energy, and some people harness a more shadowy Cancer energy. And whether you're a Cancer sun sign or not, it doesn't really matter. If you harness, we all tap into Cancer energy. Do you harness high vibe Cancer energy? If you do, you'd probably want to hang out with other people who do. If you harness a more worldly focused Cancer energy, you probably want to hang out with people who also harness high vibe or more worldly focused Cancer energy. So we're going to read it from a couple different perspectives. Just listen to your intuition, where you're at in the story, and use your intuition about other people in your life to see if you're on the same page or not. Let's get one more group of cards. Okay. And before I turned on the camera, I shuffled the Grace cards by Cheryl Richardson, and you got mindfulness. Manage your mind. When we direct our thoughts and words towards the outcome we most desire, we ignite grace. So manage your mind, manage your thoughts. We are able to master our mind and our thoughts. You know, our mind can be like a monkey mind where it goes off on all these things and we can get all caught up into it. Our mind was made to protect us, but sometimes we can get so fearful of what could hurt us that we're sabotaging ourselves. So anyway, let's go see. We start out with the card not showing itself, and the reason that card came out is because of the Virgo card. So I think people that are in high vibe energy are rejecting this energy in a shadowy way because they are going within, or they did go within, to gain insight and understanding. Seven of Wands in reverse. Well, in the upright, the Seven of Wands is about, you know, having taken some creative, inspired action to get out of your ego and stand up for yourself. I think what this could be saying is you're no longer defensive. And part of the reason why you're no longer defensive is because you've gained insight and wisdom about the past and learned lessons about yourself. And then we have the Tower, the Ten of Pentacles, and the Chariot card. And those came out because of the Three of Pentacles. So both the Hermit and the Ten of Pentacles are Virgo energy. And we could either be aligned, you know, we have the free will to either be aligned with our more high vibe Virgo energy or our more worldly focused, more shadowy Virgo energy. And I think high vibe people have put an end, that's like the Tower card, taking down their worldly foundation being based on operating from their more worldly nature. You know, we all grow up in the world. We all get caught up in the illusion of the world where we can think, isn't life all about like aligning with the world, working with the things of the world? Isn't that how we move forward victoriously? Kind of what the Chariot talks about. And I think high vibe people have went within to realize that they might have aligned with that nature within themselves, either because they weren't willing to take creative, bold, confident, loving action within their own life to stand up for themselves, and they could have moved forward in jobs and relationships and friendships and organizations and institutions, you know, and all those things of the world because they used to think that was the way you're supposed to do it, right? But the Tower is about seeing the truth that that's an unstable foundation. And I think the high vibe people realize that whatever jobs or friendships or romantic relationships they could have been in and aligned with, that it was more about ego and image and stability, insecurity. And we all want those things, but we can get into those situations in life where by worldly standards, it looks great. It looks wonderful. It looks like we got the money and the status and the image and it looks victorious. by worldly standards, but is it really aligned with our truth? And, like, are we in the right career field? Is this what I really love that motivates and inspires me? Or did I pick this career field because I knew it would be stable and secure and I'd make money and, but are we really living our authentic life? Sometimes it's not until we have more stability in our life that we feel free to go get in the career field we really like, per se. But same thing can happen with relationships. We could want to be in relationships with people who kind of seem like familiar, in our comfort zone. Oh, you live where I live. You're in the same religion I am. You're the same ethnicity that I am. We both live in a small town or a great big town, or, whatever is our commonality. And part of why we do that is because we're fearful of letting that way of living life go. Because we could have fear of, if we follow our dreams. The Knight of Cups is Pisces energy, which is about having hope and faith and belief in your dreams and listening to your intuition. If I just listen to my intuition, this is a feminine figure, and the feminine figures in tarot can talk about being connected in with our emotions and our intuition, and to listen to my intuition to guide me, not my eyes, not the world. I want love to guide me, because there's a maximum of 10 swords. There's a maximum of 10 in every suit. So if we're 8 of swords up in our head, that means we're in our head about 2 cups of love in our heart. And it can be, the 8 of Swords is also Gemini energy, and Gemini is a dualistic sign, and we have a dualistic nature. We have the knowledge of good and evil within us. We have our more worldly nature, all the things of the world that we want, but we also have our more loving, intuitive nature. And I think when we're initially growing up in the world, we have to learn lessons in life to start to listen to our intuition to guide us, let love and intuition guide our decisions, instead of giving so much more emphasis to our worldly nature to guide us. And part of the reason why we let our worldly nature guide us is because we're fearful of trusting our intuition. But, depending on how much life you've lived, you've realized that when you let your more fear or codependency or ignoring your intuition, it's in our pride and ego that we think we know best, and we let our more worldly, egoic nature run our life than letting love and intuition guide our life. Those things didn't work out. Some people have already experienced that, and they're sitting over here. Other people are just kind of doing that work within themselves. Because when we get ourselves in a situation in the world, it can make us feel defensive, because if it's not where people are working together with you from love, it's an unstable foundation, which is also what the Tower talks about. We built our life on shifting sand, or we got in a relationship with someone who isn't working with us cooperatively from love. And they could want us to stay in that job, stay in that relationship for reasons other than love. It's good for our ego and our image and our status. It looks great. You make a lot of money at this job. You should stay here, even though someone you might have to work with every day in that job or that relationship is unstable. So they could be immature, impulsive, prideful, egotistical, fearful, defensive, self-centered, immature, lazy, petty, envious, jealous. The list goes on. More selfish and greedy. I'm unstable. I want to get in a relationship with you. It would make me feel more stable. It would make me look like I'm moving forward victoriously. Well, when you kind of realize that someone you might be in a relationship with is kind of unstable, and the truth, the Tower talks about, boom, something happened to reveal the truth of a foundation. And it's like, oh my gosh, I've got to get out of here. This is not safe and secure like I thought it was. And From the 10 down to the 3 is letting go. Let me turn the camera down. From the 10 down to the 3, it's letting go of a 7 of Pentacles, which could be something that you did invest in. But a truth was revealed that this isn't moving forward in the way I thought it was going to move forward. If you were thinking a workplace or a relationship was going to move forward in an emotionally balanced, loving, encouraging, just, fair, stable way, you realized it wasn't going to do that. Whoever, if it was a job or a relationship, having you there maybe made it seem more grounded and balanced and helped it seem like it was moving forward in a much more successful way than it would have without you being there. And that's when it's like, oh my gosh, I don't care that I'm in a mental prison and I'm kind of worried about my next job or my next relationship, because I have learned to listen to my intuition. I'm not going to let my fear of moving away from this stop me from moving away, because sometimes, you know, the reason I kind of bring up a job is I had recently left a job, and I would have never left that job because I'd only been there like 9 months. But it's just like, oh my gosh, this is like, actually, I'd never worked somewhere like that before, where the person who hired me was maybe hiding that they don't ever take creative inspired action to get out of their ego and lack good boundaries, and was hiding the fact that there was a lot of shit going on there. And then you take the job and they're like, oh, this is great. Like everything's going to move forward really great. But then all the things that they were hiding showed themselves. And it's like, oh my gosh, you're like really controlling and micromanaging, and oh, you don't like that person, you want that person fired, and that's why you hired me, because you want me to learn their job so you can fire them, and then if they go, then I'm the next person that you're gonna attack, you know, just because some people are really unstable. You know, they're petty and envious and jealous and insecure and secretive, and you know, anybody is like a threat, because our shadow nature is like our competitive nature. And some people have a lot of inner conflict and they're very competitive. And if anybody seems like they're like a stable, grounded, whatever, victorious person, that's a threat to some people. And the person who they wanted to fire was really great at their job. It's like, and that person didn't want to leave. And it's like, yeah, I think I'm going to leave. And I wouldn't have wanted to leave a job only having been there that long. But I kind of thought, with having done tarot for a few years now, that if negative energy exists in one workplace and some people are creating a negative environment, that means loving energy is creating a loving environment someplace. So I'm going to listen to my intuition. I'm going to leave this job and I'm going to go apply somewhere else. And it was like night and day. It was like parallel universe. You know, the new job I went to is just like, everybody's really nice, shares things that we may never have to use, but where the other people are really secretive, didn't want to give you any information because it made them seem powerful. The other people are like, completely, let's have a meeting, this is what we're doing. And it's like one person even asked, like, so why are you sharing this with us? Like, well, just so you know, in case whatever, because it probably wouldn't be stuff we'd really work with, but it's just being completely transparent, So the same thing can happen in relationships. Some people didn't stand up for what they believed in, and it's all a process of life. And, at different times in our life, we could have been unstable, ungrounded, looking for stability and security. And we could have gotten into jobs or relationships that helped us feel more stable and grounded. The difference is, who are the people that really do plan and want to do work within themselves to heal, to align with love, and to get in the driver's seat of their own life, and might just need some help. And then they kind of get back to their true nature. And who are the people who could get in relationships with people because they're unstable and grounded, have fears, have insecurities, but they never plan to do that work within. I just look to get in another relationship with someone to have that stability and security, but my intention is never to get in the driver's seat of my own life, because that takes a lot of work. Between being unstable and getting in the driver's seat of your life, it takes a lot of work and effort in your own core foundation to deal with your own fears, your own insecurities, your own self-limiting beliefs, to really kind of get aligned with love. And some people always live from their mind more than their heart. And they could have the Knight of Cups in shadow, could be people who have these illusions about relationships. Isn't this why I get in a relationship? And I don't ever have to do that work. Don't I get in a relationship for the stability and security? But I don't ever have to do the work within my own foundation. I get in a relationship and I don't have to do the work. And, that's the big difference between people. We can all have gotten in relationships with people when we hadn't learned to stand up for ourselves and take creative, inspired action in ourselves, learn to love ourselves. But then we end up in a mismatched relationship when one of the people is motivated and inspired by truth and love to heal. I do want to deal with my inner issues. I don't want to carry around my same fears and insecurities and self-limiting beliefs that I've had for the last 5 years or 10 years or whatever. And when I get in an environment where it seems stable and secure, I do that work. Other people that you could have been in a relationship that got in the relationship with you that provided stability and security, they didn't do the work. And it's the same thing at a workplace. Like that last job I was at, those people, everything was very stable and grounded. They had the opportunity to do the work within themselves, to get themselves out of their fear and have some hope and faith and belief and working cooperatively with others. But they refused to do it. So fearful that, I don't know. Let's ask. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. These people who just are unwilling. Why are they so fearful of... I guess they'd kind of, maybe with the Knight of Pentacles, have to start acting differently, maybe be a little more gracious to people. And I think some people are so afraid of kind of putting themselves out there in a different way. Well, we got the Emperor, and it flipped over in the middle of the deck, so we have the Hangman and the Hermit. Some people, like in my case where I work, that person was a supervisor. And they would have to go within to figure out why they kind of operate more from pride and ego. That can be what the Hangman talks about. We feel stuck, but are we willing to look at life differently? Are we willing to look at things from other people's perspective? Are we willing to expand our perception of ourselves and others and what we believe is possible? Because what we think dictates the action that we take. What we believe is possible. I think some people are really afraid of, especially if they're in a position of power, who wants things to keep going the way they are and is happy with things going the way they are. Probably the people who are in a position of power or influence. This is the way I like it. I don't think I should have to deal with my inner issues. I don't think I should have to see that I'm kind of bossy or controlling or prideful or egotistical or immature. And if they're in a position of power, well, if the other people leave, there'll probably be other people that will come and work there. And if those people have more fear or insecurity about themselves or getting another job or listening to their intuition, then those people will just stay there being in a mental prison. And sometimes people do that in relationships too. It's like, I don't like being in relationships with people who get themselves more emotionally balanced. We got in the relationship, we were kind of both on the same page. We could have had this certain view of life or certain view of relationships, or had our fear, had our insecurities, whatever. We got in a relationship, and then damn, that person did the work to kind of balance themselves out about the past, pain, heartbreak, fears, insecurities. This person has learned to love themselves. Damn. I don't want to be in a relationship with someone like that, because then in order to move forward with them, I would have to do that work. If they're going to maintain balance where I can't play on their fear or their insecurity or their pride or their ego or their lust or their greed or whatever to keep them in this relationship, and they're maintaining balance and kind of not letting me destabilize them to keep them in fear and insecurity or codependency, well, then I don't even want to be in a relationship with them. I'll go find someone. I won't show people that I was unwilling to get out of my ego and defend those people, because there might be other people in my life who live their life in this kind of more worldly view of life, a more, let's be in a relationship, looks good, looks whatever, but it's not really based on love, so it can be more superficial and shallow. I know other people who live their life like that, and if I were to really stand up and defend those people and move forward with those people, even defending someone at work or in a relationship from other people who might be unjust, unfair, and they could be a core group. Well, if I stand up for this person, maybe those other people will not defend me, or they won't like it, or they'll be mad. And it's kind of like, I don't want to see the truth. In our shadowy nature, people can be codependent on other people. It could be their friend group, their family, could just be the world in general. What would people think if I actually took action on what I really love and what motivates and inspires me? And other people in the world might not like it. Let's go get some clarifiers here. That's one way it could be interpreted. Tell us about the Seven of Wands in not showing itself. Okay, well, we have another card not showing itself, and it came out because of the Seven of Cups. The Ten of Pentacles. Again, some people's foundation, they reject high vibe Virgo energy. I refuse to go within to reflect on the past. If I were to reflect on the past and be willing to look at the things I don't want to look at about myself, about my family, about my friend group, about the world, about this company, this institution, this organization, if I were willing to do that, I would see the truth. Because Virgo goes in to find the truth within all of us. When we go in to gain insight and wisdom, we're tapping into Virgo energy. And in high vibe, it's like, I'm going to offer love and compassion to it, to myself, to others. I want to see the truth because I feel stuck and I don't want to feel stuck anymore. So then we go within to see the truth, and it could be, I'm confused. I don't know if I want to be in deep, meaningful relationships. I kind of got caught up in the illusion of the world and the ego and the image. I was unwilling to stand up for myself. I could have been hiding. Some people could have been hiding that they were never willing to detach from their more worldly perspective of life to align with their more loving, intuitive nature. If we want to harness these energies in a high vibe way, high vibe emperor energy, male or female, is people who've learned lessons in life. And they've learned lessons living from their heart, living from their mind, living from their more passionate, creative nature, living from their more worldly nature. And they've learned lessons from those relationships to make better decisions in their life. And we all had to go out in the world and learn lessons. We've all let our heart run our life, and that kind of drove our life into the ditch. And we go learn those lessons so that we can get to where we're more like in the middle of ourself, kind of centered, so that when we need to use our emotions and our thoughts and our passionate nature, we can have those aspects in our life without like, oh my God, I got to go to the complete edge of the cliff with it, We kind of learn to have boundaries within ourselves because we've been enlightened to the truth. That if I don't make good decisions in my life, if I let one or two aspects of myself, like my mind, if I just let my mind run my life, my mind, can run my life off into the ditch. We have lots of thoughts every day. If we don't control our thoughts and master our thoughts, same way our emotions. If we don't get control of our emotions and maybe our ego, all those things can run our life off into the ditch. Some people Aries energy, and people don't have to be in Aries that we're talking about, but the Aries energy is about the self. We have to gain insight and wisdom about how our worldly nature of self is very prideful and egotistical. I want what I want. I mean, to a degree, wouldn't we all kind of, well, I want what I want. I want everybody to do what I want. You know, some people are that way. And they don't want people to know that they're not very insightful, that they have this illusion about what it means to be in a relationship. And they think it's all about me. And I'm very stubborn and prideful and egotistical, and I'm unwilling to go within to see the truth about it. You know, some people are bossy and controlling. To be high vibe, you would be someone who's gone within to gain insight and wisdom about how things didn't work out in the past. How did I contribute to that job, that relationship not working out? And seeing the truth of the people that we might have wanted to be in a relationship. Because otherwise we'll keep staying stuck and in a mental prison about love because there's someone in our past we love. But the person that we love in our past could have been hiding. They don't want to stand up for themselves and defend their more loving, intuitive nature. They might be more working with their more worldly nature, and it's all about money, materialism, status, image, or themselves. And we have to see the truth of it. The truth sets us free. When we offer love and compassion to ourselves, and we offer love and compassion to the people we've been in a relationship with, you know, were the people that we were working with or in relationship with, are they insightful people? Do they lack self-insight? I don't know about you, but I've definitely known some people who are very immature and impulsive, and they don't see how that affects a relationship. I've known people that are very prideful and egotistical. It's kind of like everybody else in the relationship should put aside their pride and ego in the relationship, but never them. Some people, and sometimes you don't see the truth of who people are, and some people are very materialistic. And that's what drives and motivates them. And you didn't know the truth. Some people are very unstable, you know. They got a lot of things that they hide beneath the surface. And they don't ever deal with them, so those problems never really go away. And then something happens that kind of shows you that, oh my gosh, this person does have a lot of issues to deal with. Tell us about the Tower card. For others of you, you know, you could have already gone through this. And the Tower, it takes time. You know, the Seven of Cups is Scorpio energy, which is the deep emotional connections we have with people. And we're emotionally complex human beings. It takes time to detach emotionally from a foundation. And how do we do that? I think with the Chariot card here, which is about Cancer energy, when we are, and the Virgo Hermit in high vibe is about offering love and compassion to the situation. That from an energy of love is how we heal, and an energy of love is how we can move forward in an emotionally balanced way, because we just offer love to the situation. Some people are fearful of love. They can get hurt doing that, and they're not willing. They hide that from the world, and they hide that they might operate more from their worldly egoic nature, because if they do that, the world still looks at them as a victorious, successful person. They just know that some of their relationships didn't work out and people moved on from them because they have this fear of being vulnerable. And they operate more out of pride and ego. And then when they get in relationships with other people who have healed from some of their past pain and heartbreak and self-limiting beliefs, and those people are ready to move forward in life differently, that's when this person's more shadowy nature can come out, and they can start being more controlling and more stubborn because they don't like the fact that you're not willing to just stay in the relationship letting them hide. They would have to stand up for themselves and see some truth that they don't want to see about themselves, or what they're unwilling to detach from, which could be their more worldly view of life. And that could be too much for them to let go of. So they let that relationship go because they keep staying more aligned with their more worldly view of life, which would be more of an unstable view of life. Because we should live our life being free to love and to give and receive love. But some people are fearful of love. So it's like, well, I let those people go because I would have had to face my fears of being hurt or of being vulnerable. And I wasn't willing to take that creative inspired action that it would take to get out of my ego and my fear. It would have required me to go within to figure out why I choose to control things or be egotistical or stubborn. Why will I not do it? And some people, it's like, I'm just not even going to look at it. I'm just going to let them go, and I'll go try to find someone else to live this type of life with me, where they don't require me to work through my fears or insecurities about love. Maybe I can find someone else who would be willing to keep working with me in a relationship and moving forward in a relationship with me, and is happy to be in a relationship that just has the stability and the security, but it's more of an illusion. You know, it's hard to have a deep, meaningful relationship with someone who is defensive to being authentic and vulnerable and loving in a relationship. You know, it's kind of more like someone you're having sex with. And some people are happy living their life that way. You know, it's kind of compartmentalizing. I do not do love. I might be in a relationship with this person for 10 or 20 years, but in my mind, I say I'm having sex with them. And if they start to get too close, it starts to scare me, instill fear and insecurity in me. Then I become bossy and controlling. My partner can't figure out why I'm being bossy and controlling, and it's because, I would say, of fear. The Tower card. The Three of Wands and the Devil because of the Five of Wands. And then for some people, you know, I do think either love drives our decisions or fear drives our decisions, but, you know, it can come across in different ways. There's some people that are really in the Five of Wands, really competitive in the world. And some people, you know, the devil represents all those things of the world. And some people always dreamed of never dealing with their inner conflict about their fear of being vulnerable and authentic in the world. And they always dream that I'll make my life, living my life, making it about the things of the world. And other people, shadowy Aries, shadowy devil, well, I guess the devil can always be kind of shadowy, but some people think it's all about them. It's all about my wants, my needs, my lusts, my greed, my pride, my ego. Maybe they have those things of the world. Maybe they have money or status or image or charming or social clout or whatever, good looking, you know? And then they think, well, I shouldn't have to do this work. I align with thinking that because I have these things and I look victorious and successful in the world, there's going to be people who are going to want to be in a relationship with me, and I don't have to deal with my fears and my insecurities and my pride and my ego. You know, but it ends up showing itself in a relationship. People are acting in ways that aren't conducive to a stable, grounded, emotionally balanced, loving relationship moving forward. They self-sabotage it. You know, because they're immature, prideful, or they're selfish and greedy, or they're self-centered and egotistical, or they're lazy, or they're petty, or they're competitive. You know, who wants to be in a relationship with someone who kind of treats you like the opposition that they need to beat? I'm better than you. Well, I did this, and I'm better than you. It's just like, oh my God, yes, you're better than me, and I'm leaving. Go be better with someone else. You know, why do you have to try to build your ego off of me? How about you be proud of yourself and what you do, and I'll do the things I enjoy in life, and it's not a competition. We're supposed to love each other, but some people have a lot of inner conflict they don't deal with, and shadow energy is like presenting a facade, and it's like, I do have a lot of inner conflict. I try to hide that I have a lot of inner conflict. And then if they get in relationships with people who've done the work to really be the real deal, they're really who they say they are, and the other person is just trying to create an illusion of them being like in high vibe Cancer energy, that they're a loving family person and they're stable and grounded and emotionally balanced, but they're not. Well, yeah, that can really bother them, that you really did it, and it highlights that theirs is more of an illusion and a facade. So kind of the idea that your light irritates their demons. And they could do that work to become authentically a more loving, balanced person. But if there's someone who's used to always hiding their more authentic nature from the world, because Seven of Wands in high vibe would be high vibe Leo energy. Authentically yourself in the world, bold and brave enough to be authentically yourself in the world. And some people grew up in families where, you're not supposed to listen to your intuition. You're not supposed to be authentically yourself in the world. You're supposed to conform to the world so that everybody will judge you as a perfectly whatever human being, And then it can be emotionally confusing because nobody's really allowed to be their authentic self in the world. And then they create this wonderful false mask and narrative of how they live their life. And then if some of those people get in relationships with people who really are like free, because that's what high vibe energy is, being free, it's like, well, why aren't you enslaved and imprisoned by all the things that I'm imprisoned by? It's like, well, because I did the inner work to love myself and believe in myself, and I've just decided I'm going to go out in the world and treat people with love and respect and treat people the way I like to be treated, and the world can judge away. Well, if you get too caught up in like man-made rules, like, well, the unspoken rules, like, well, I'm supposed to do this and I'm supposed to do that, and people might judge me and blah, 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 blah. It's like, where did you get that's how you're supposed to live your life? I think everybody else might really just be living their life. Again, it's all in our own head. Who put all these thoughts in our head? Well, I have to do this, and I couldn't do that. And we can only do this if those people do that, because otherwise people might think like we're behaving poorly. But it's amazing, right? How some of the people that have all these rules and regulations, they do some of the same things like everybody else does in the world. But if they do it, it's acceptable. If other people do it, it's wrong. Like, oh, well, yes, we went and did this, and we went to the bar, and yes, we went and did that. But if they do it somehow or another, it seems more like okay. And if other people do it, it's like, oh my gosh, they were at the bar again. What wretched people. It's like, oh my gosh, were people drinking themselves silly and ripping their clothes off? No, they went to the bar. They had some drinks. They enjoyed themselves. They had a meal, but only like if they do it, then is it acceptable. But if other people do it, then so they're probably very judgmental people themselves. Anyway, I think some of you maybe had some fears and insecurities along with some other people that might be in it right now that kind of either had to learn to love and believe in yourself or stand up for yourself, or kind of got caught up in the world. It caused you a lot of inner conflict. When you were ready to move forward, they really didn't like it. And that's when you saw their shadowy nature, that they didn't want you to heal. They didn't kind of have your best interests at heart. If you weren't willing to be enslaved and imprisoned by whatever enslaves and imprisons them, which we can have our fear, we can have our insecurity, we can have our pride and our ego and stuff. Well, then they probably have other people in their life who kind of live their life like that too. And then those people are kind of like a third party in your relationship because they're not independent of those people to live their authentic life. And so if you stay in a relationship with them, whatever and whoever kind of controls them, which can just be the world at large, it would have to have control of you too. And some of you said no. Some people are just doing that right now. So some of you already moved on. Some people are just seeing the truth. As you're moving forward, you could have some concerns if about some people in your life, you know, from adult children to siblings to parents to friends to people you would view as a romantic interest. Are they going to move forward with me in an energy of love? Tell us about the Eight of Swords. We'll see, I'm going to get a different deck. Tell us about the Eight of Swords. But I think the high vibe people that are further along this journey have done this work within themselves, that they're really focused and keeping their focus on love, to not get caught up in their head and their fear and their insecurity, offering love to stay focused on their dreams, and realizing everybody has to make this free will decision for themselves. Are they going to stay in that bad job? Are they going to stay in their fear or their insecurity or their pride or their ego, you know? Are they going to stay like maybe in some unhealthy relationships? You know, and if any of you have children, or just like when we were kids, right? You know, sometimes, you know, people got to learn their lessons the hard way, and we have to accept that. And so I think the high vibe people are definitely looking to the future and continuing to move forward. Now we have the Seven of Wands in the upright. And the Ten of Pentacles not showing itself. I think the high vibe people are standing up for themselves, kind of against their own immature way of thinking and logic and reasoning that they could have had before. And then that can represent also some of the people in their life that they used to be involved with in the past. Some of you might have been involved with a Libra, Aquarius, or a Gemini, but you're no longer in that place. You know, they have their truth, which is the long-term goal is all about the world or indulging themselves, ego and image. And you've went within to gain insight and understanding that that only gets a person so far, that if you don't listen to, and plus it's probably going to blow up on you because the divine's in control of everything. And if we're not taking action from love and truth and authenticity, it's going to blow up anyway. So I think you're standing up for yourself and your truth. And your truth is, and the difference between you could be how you harness your Virgo energy. They're defensive and operate more from pride and ego, unwilling to go within, to work through, to see the truth, that they could be more operating from their prideful shadow nature, or bossy or controlling or emotionally confusing nature, fear, insecurity. And you've gotten clear about your truth, and you're no longer all about the world. You know, you're more stable and grounded than, and abundant in lots of ways, than other people who could have all the money in the world, or all the looks of the world, or the whatever. It's like, you know, if you think that's what you want to work with to try to move forward in life, you can. I just think there's more to life than just that. I think it's about also standing up. The Page of Swords can mean our inner child nature that has hope and faith and belief in our dreams. And it's like, you're more immature, because our worldly, beastly natures are more immature nature. I think you're defending and standing up for your more immature nature that might want to be the boss, that might want to act from pride and ego and stubbornness and think you can hide your who you really are from the world. But if people aren't acting with truth and love and character and integrity, I think with the Tower card, the truth gets revealed. And I think some people will see the truth, that some of the people who weren't willing to make decisions that were best for everybody that was affected by their decisions, you know, and they were hiding that they operate more from pride and ego. I think that'll be revealed. And over time, it will be revealed that either they're bossy and controlling, that they're very prideful and competitive, self-centered, greedy, materialistic. The truth always comes to light. People can try to present themselves as harnessing high vibe Cancer energy, but eventually the truth gets revealed. And the people who really harness high vibe Cancer energy are the people who believed in their dreams enough to face their fears and insecurities and to fight for and truly being a good leader in the world, enlightened to the truth. That it's about love, it's about being self-aware. Why do I make the decisions I make? We have to be willing to admit, oh, I tend to do that because I'm fearful or insecure or because I'm in my ego. Well, if we're not taking action out of trying to be just and fair and loving and treat other people the way we like to be treated, but we still think everything should go our way, that's kind of living in fantasy land. So let's ask, what's coming up for the people who harness high vibe Cancer energy? What's coming up for them? And so, yeah, I think you high vibe people, you did get control of your mind, your fears, and your thoughts. And that's why you're able to move forward in this very grounded, stable way, because you're keeping your thoughts focused on what can be and love. And the other people might always be people who are afraid of what could happen. Well, what if I were to move forward with them, and what if they hurt me? What if they change their mind? Blah, blah, blah. Listen to your intuition. Some people sabotage really good relationships because they're so fearful of what if it doesn't work. It's like, there is no guarantees in life. Listen to your intuition. Are you enjoying your time with them? Are they seeming loving and just and fair? Then let go of this more ego-based way of living life. And how about control? Take the reins of your dualistic nature to not let your fear and your insecurity drive your life off into the ditch. And how about listen to your intuition? If they're being loving and warm and kind, how about you be loving and kind and warm in return? But I think some people are just so afraid of... Oh, another thing. Some people could have found you really attractive, and they were so afraid of the competition and afraid that you would move forward with someone else. Well, then that would be someone who doesn't have very much confidence within themselves. They had the opportunity to work through their own fears and insecurities of, how about I become a boss and I level up in life? Why am I in my ego? Why am I afraid that they'll go off with the competition? They might have thought you were really great and loving and warm and stable and grounded, and anybody would want to be in a relationship with you. And because of that, it completely destabilizes them because they don't really believe that you would love them. Well, why don't they do that inner work within themselves to realize, that you did get in a relationship with them, you were willing to work with them, you do love them, but we can't make other people work through their fears and insecurities, So tell us what's coming up for the people who harness some shadowy Cancer energy. The High Priestess, because of the Four of Pentacles. For some people, they were just hiding that they're materialistic. That they're more money and materialistically motivated. And in order to move forward with loving people, they would have to let go of their foundation that they operate from, being about the world. And some of them weren't willing to give that up. And instead of working with the loving people and standing up for those people and their own inner child nature that would like them to be in emotionally balanced, loving relationships where they could grow and mature to their full potential, they decided, that does take a lot of work and effort. And instead of doing that, I think I'll hold back from them, be defensive to them, do things that are confusing so that they probably eventually leave. And then I can go get in a relationship with someone who I think also maybe makes their life about money and materialism. So the Four of Pentacles and the Devil card are Capricorn. Some people, they're more aligned with their more worldly foundation. And so they're aligned with more shadowy Capricorn energy within themselves. And then they might The high vibe people are people who harness high vibe Capricorn energy in the sense that they were willing to do the work to free themselves from the devil and the things that restrict and confine them. And they wanted to go be in relationship with people who haven't done that, who do maybe make their life more about money and materialism, or are fearful or codependent, who have a lot of fear and insecurity, because some people like to be the boss in a relationship, and they only want to be in a relationship with people who haven't healed yet. Somebody who has a lot of inner conflict, a lot of fears, a lot of codependency. It's like, perfect. Then you'll look at me like I'm this stable, grounded person in the world that you should move forward with and have victory. Just know that, I'm in a mental prison, and eventually my truth might show itself. But if you keep staying codependent or fearful or insecure and all about ego and image and money, we might be able to keep moving forward with this illusion that everything's great, because you won't trigger my fears and my insecurities that I have about love. So as long as you're willing to let me kind of indulge in a relationship with you because you have inner conflict about leaving me, well, then I'll keep indulging myself in a relationship for as long as you don't love and believe in yourself. When you do start to love and believe in yourself and heal from past pain and heartbreak and get more emotionally balanced within yourself and are more willing to stand up for what you believe in and get your voice then this relationship will be over. So yeah. Shadow energy is vast and wide. Talking about people who choose love, that's much easier, But I think there's some people that, like I say, some of you have gotten out of it. You're standing up for yourself, speaking your truth, have done a lot of insight, because even though we use this for the shadowy person and why they're so afraid, in turn, it could be read in the opposite energy of why some people aren't afraid anymore. And it's because they went within to gain insight and wisdom to see the truth. And the truth sets us free. I can make decisions when I know the truth and when I'm not in denial of the truth. It can be confusing when we're in relationships with people who we viewed as loving and stable and grounded and that we thought were going to make good decisions in a relationship and then they don't. That's really confusing. And it can take time. And sometimes those people purposely do that to confuse us and to destabilize us, hoping we'll give up on our dreams and will be willing to stay clinging to them in a relationship. And it's like a tactic. I had the option to be just and fair and truthful and honest, but I thought I had a better idea. And I know I'm going to be unloving, unjust, unfair, competitive, prideful, egotistical. And I bet that will really confuse you, and maybe you wanted this dream to move forward and come into reality, and you'll probably be upset that it didn't, and you'll spend a lot of time up in your head about why it didn't work. And if you're a loving person, you kind of want to offer people love to try to get them to believe in their dreams or make the dream work. And, if you've been there and done that enough, it's kind of like, I've been in relationships with people who have shown me before that they're kind of like immature and impulsive or prideful or egotistical or whatever. And this could have been someone that it was really shocking because you really did think they were more stable and grounded and more mature than they were. And when that happened, I think for you right away, it was like, oh my gosh, kind of set off your alarm bells that I have been there and I have done this and I did not expect this of you. And for some of you, it was a shock because you could have really moved away really quick. And that was a shock to them, because if they don't know your past life and what you've gone through in your own life, or just thinking because you're a loving person that you wouldn't want to give up on the relationship, it's like, oh no, I've been here before. I've seen people act like this, And when someone shows you that they're not who you thought they were, Yeah, I think you listened to your intuition, and your intuition was telling you to leave and stand up for yourself and let go of that foundation because it was not aligned with your truth. And they were hiding the fact that there's an old way of being that they don't want to let go of in the Four of Pentacles. Unwilling. Virgo energy goes within to see the truth. That would be coming out with a pentacle. If this person had been willing to go within, in the Five of Pentacles, they would have moved forward with you. But they were unwilling to look at life any differently. They have maybe this very set way of viewing the world, and they refuse to view life or relationships any differently. And part of it could be that I will be very stubborn and prideful and egotistical, and if you're not willing to do it my way, then I guess you'll leave. And you did. And I think you also might have people coming in to defend you. Page of Pentacles could be people, could be children in your life. It also could be people in your life who also have been through similar experiences like this, who have also seen the truth of people in workplaces and friendships and relationships who act this way, who are going to come in and defend you and stand up for you, because they also know that there's people like this in the world, and they have that hopeful, believing nature, and they see that you're not about the ego and the image and the money, and they could see the truth that the other people are hiding, that they're very selfish and greedy or prideful or egotistical, and they're inspired to listen to their intuition and move forward with you in the energy of love, then keep repeating this pattern of a relationship with those type of people in the world. So there you go, Cancer energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.